Welcome into the Ballin' Out Podcast. I'm your host, Jordan, here with my co-host, Billy. How you doing today, bud?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Just cold as I don't know what, man. How about yourself?
Oh, buddy, it's colder than a well digger's ass out there today. There ain't no doubt about that. And we're going to talk about this Vandy game here over the weekend, and then we're going to take a break for a little while and go and come back in with some playoff talk. But buddy, biggest game of the year for the Vols, honestly, and who would have thought we were saying that about the Vanderbilt game?
Man, hey, it went exactly like I said it was going to go, man. They was going to give us all they had coming out, and they did.
They sure did, man. Opening kickoff, just the oh my God moment. I think the whole damn state damn near had a heart attack, man. Just wow.
Yes, I mean the kickoff took a lot out of it, man. I saw it from the beginning. I mean, I most definitely know it took all the air out of the fans, man. It was all here we go again. I'm like, guys, calm down. It's just one play,
right? Sat there, I was looking at it, and that's what I said was, oh my God. And then we get the ball, we go out there and fumble it away on the opening drive. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Like, it's just the worst of the worst of how we could have started.
I call that the playoff guys, man. I mean, the guys and playoff guys are trying to get us, guys. Come on, don't let them get you, man. And they finally came up, man. After that fumble, I truly think, the coaches set the guys aside and say, hey, man, we got to get it together.
Yeah. They that fumble though, man, he's had one of those just about every game this year. Not just about every game, but he's had a few of those, and he was just digging, trying to get a little bit more, and they had two or three guys wrap him up, and one just pinochle punched it out of there, and that was it. There ain't much you can do about it. I'm not going to fault the kid for trying to get more.
Well, I mean, as a running back, you got to protect the ball. He knows the way he fumbled it, and he realized it after that. I will say this here. I guarantee he won't fumble again this season.
I hope so. Because we're gonna be facing some strong boys coming up. But he goes through he's not had a fumble in a game or two that he's lost. So I mean, it's one of those things. It just happens. I mean, some of our best running backs have been very fumble prone. Look at Arian Foster. That kid, man, for every game he was good for at least one. If we got it back most of the time, but it seemed like the ones we'd always lose were at the worst opportune time. Of course, there's never a good time to lose a fumble, but you know what I'm saying. It happens like that. But man, Andy though, man, they did. You called it. They come out, went up on us 14-0 early, and after they recovered that fumble, they scored 7 plays, 26 yards, so they didn't have far to go. We finally got it going on offense, though. Sampson broke loose for 28 yards. Nico hit Brazil for a 21-yarder. Then he dropped an absolute dime to Thornton over the middle for a 28-yard touchdown pass, 14-7, 5 plays, 73 yards. It's a good little drive. Good little drive right there, man. Quick drive, too.
Well, those are the kind of drives we've been expecting all season, man. I mean, we finally put it together and get the passing game going for a change.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was nice to see. I mean, Nico finished the day with four touchdown passes, and I want to say he was over 275 throwing. I'm not sure exactly, but he had good. Like that was a very good Josh Heupel offensive day. That's what we've been expecting, and I don't think it was without some thought into it. Thinking, well, maybe now's the time to get the offense really going and show the playoff committee what we can do.
Well, that's a whole nother story there with the playoff committee.
It is.
Shush.
Yeah, we'll jump into that later on. Defense, though, man, finally got going. Gave up a field goal to Vandy. Vandy went up 17-7. Then the Vols, man, I'm going to ask you this, too. We go 4 and out, not 3 and out, 4 and out. Vandy just absolutely stuffed that dang fullback dive to Kitzelman. They didn't even play nothing else. I mean, they didn't send nobody with the receivers, nothing. I'm wondering if plays like that, I mean, of course, 4th and inches, 4th and less than 1, whatever. More times than not, what's coming. But is there something we do that where it just, what's coming, it's tendencies almost. And I mean, they just stuffed it, man. He didn't even have a chance to get going. It's like they knew what was coming, and I'm sure they probably did, but
Well, I think Tennessee underestimated Vandy's D line on that situation. Like they thought maybe they can manhandle him and get a quick dive, catch him off, and thinking that we're gonna give it to Sampson. But that's where it comes to being man on man right there, being able to push a guy, get an extra yard, anything like that. But in this situation right now, it should have been a situation where the playbook opened up a little bit more.
yeah,
Let's fake dive, naked boot off the side, let the quarterback get a quick run out there, or flats, something in the flats. I mean, there's so many things that we're not doing that I know we can.
yeah, yeah,
Because we don't have the offensive line that we can just drive anybody off the line of scrimmage.
right. No, I agree with that. That was one of those kind of got to question your manhood on that one just a little bit, where if you can't get it in, you don't need to win the game. You know what I mean? It's one of those type things where you get down there, you know what you got to do, and you can't do it. It was that one was kind of disappointing, but defense come back out, held strong. Jermod McCoy, dude, most incredible interception I've seen this year. Like, not even close. And that's what you preach to your youngins as a coach. Stay focused, stay with it. You never know what's going to happen. And buddy, I mean, he rolled over and it was right there on his chest.
That was a spectacular play, man. I mean, those are the highlights I love seeing as a defensive guy, man. And gosh, it was at the perfect time, man. Right after that 4 and out, the turnover on downs, we get the ball back.
Yes. Then we turn around and throw it right back to him. That was like, are you kidding me?
My. That was one of the, I'm going to say it, one of the worst throws I saw from Nico in all season. I mean, because he underthrew that. I mean,
he
was
did.
Perfect stride. If he just could have laid him out just a little bit further, it was a touchdown.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was, it wasn't even close, man. It looked like he meant to throw it to him, honestly. It was crazy. But, defense got another stand after that, 4th down. Will Brooks, Bryson Eason get the sack on Pavia. Can't stand that kid either, man. Like, that kid has the most punchable face in college football. Hearing him before the game, give it to me 100 times, I'll do it by myself. No, you won't.
But the confidence in the guys, man, you got to love it, but I'm glad we took it out of him.
Yeah, we did. We took it out of him real quick. Vols get the sack, take over on the 47, end up getting a 50-yard field goal out of that, so it goes 17-10. Max Gilbert had one bad game here a while back. Finally, he's got it back together now. It's good to see. We're going to need him coming down the stretch here. And after that, though, buddy, it's basically all Vols the rest of the way. Vandy gets the ball, goes 3 and out. Vols go to Decent, 5 yards. Then Nico to Thornton for 86 yards.
Perfect.
It was. I mean, it was. He couldn't have handed that to him any better. Could not have.
Perfect.
Second touchdown of the game for both of them. Ties the game 17-17, and then I want to say Thornton got hurt right after that. We didn't see him the rest of the game. We're kind of banged up in the receiving room right now.
You talking about rest that we need, man. This is going to be some of the best off time that ever for the Vols.
Yes, they need it badly. Because we're going to need our studs coming down the road here. Just, we know we kind of got an idea of what we're going to end up with, where we're going to end up going, whether it's Neyland or not. That's to be discussed on the other show, but we'll get into that just a little bit. But that ties the game at 17. We double dipped before halftime. Used the final 2:30 or so to go 10 plays, 96 yards, and end it with an 18-yard touchdown pass to Miles Kitzelman. 24-17 Vols at the half. Man, I tell you, the offense looked really damn good once after that first drive. I mean, they really did. They looked really good. It was good to see. Play calling was there. I realize Vandy's not the stoutest defense in the conference, but it was good to see, and they're decent enough. I mean, they were good enough to beat Alabama.
Yeah, well, I'm glad they didn't come with that scheme because, gosh, I couldn't accept a loss to Vandy, man. Like,
no.
This is not how it works anymore, man. Especially this time of the year where the playoff is on the line. I still don't think it should have been the close as it was.
No. Well, we spotted them 14 quick ones, so after that though, man, I mean, they settled in and It's hard to bounce. Many teams don't bounce back the way Tennessee did, especially rivalry weekend. They showed some resiliency, and not every team showed it this weekend. Look at Ohio State. Michigan, that was crazy. It's just this was the weekend where if anything could happen, it could happen. In most cases, it did, but it didn't happen in Nashville. That's all that matters.
And I'm glad it did, man, because I tell you, my heart wouldn't have accepted that one.
I don't think I could have either, man. Knowing what was on the line, if we trot in there, go 8-4, 8-3, or 8-3, and we lose, and there's nothing on the line, it still sucks. But knowing that you're not going to the playoffs anyway, still wouldn't have made it any easier to accept that one. No. But dude, I'll tell you, man. The defense, though, we keep talking about it. They're just a highlight reel waiting to happen, man. They really are. Got the safety. That was nice. Jackson Ross is a weapon. I don't care what anybody says. You can make fun of me for saying the punter's a weapon. A good punter is a weapon. And he can flip the game. Yeah, man, we finally got our Mike Matthews sighting that we've been begging to see. 13 plays, 75 yards, 16-17 off, 6 minutes and 17 seconds off the clock. Capped it off with a 14-yard touchdown to Mike Matthews. It's good to see Mike Matthews be back out there, and in the fold, because like I say, we got an injured wide receiver core right now, man. We gotta get some of these young guys out there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the problem is, we got to get these guys in the game, and that's what we got to get up by points. We got to score touchdowns. We got to stop going with the 3 and outs and stuff like that. We got to get up, and that's why I was saying I was hoping we go up by 20-some points against Vandy so we can get our starters out, and that didn't happen. But I knew it was going to be a competitive game. Still, like I said, I didn't think it was going to be that close.
Yeah. Well, like I say, you spot them 14 early ones, and I kind of mentioned it on the last show too. You let a team hang around like that for a little while, it kind of gives them hope. They keep feeding off of it, and it didn't take long for us to squash that, though. 17 quick ones will do that. Putting 17-24 on the board in a hurry will squash that confidence real quick. Ended up getting the punt, though, that we were discussing there. Got the safety off of that. Loved it. But those safeties, man, they're hard to come by, and usually they come at a pretty critical point, and that made it a 16-point game. So that was a big one.
Well, as soon as we got the safety, I knew it was over. Game was over. Like, that took the air out of them. Even though the defender kept coming, they kept coming. They didn't quit.
They didn't. We got the ball back after that. Went up and went and got a late field goal. That was just the icing on the cake. Finished it up. That put us up 36-17. Vandy gets a garbage time touchdown to make the final 36-23. Vols did cover, though, 12.5. They did cover. It's just a good win, man. Put us in the playoffs, and we'll see what happens from there. But a couple things we need to talk about, though. We kind of mentioned it earlier, the resiliency. Not every team showed that this weekend. Not every team come back in a rivalry game. Georgia kind of got a little help from the refs. I'm just going to say that. Couple of plays. Georgia come out and done what a good team does, found a way to win. But I was texting you during that game. If I'm a Georgia Tech fan, I want a new offensive coordinator. I'm just saying. But
of course, I'm gonna still say it because they shouldn't. That shouldn't have been a close game. Like, that game should have been over, especially on the fourth down play where the guy fumbled the ball. The quarterback sneak. He fumbled it. In real terms, that should have been called targeting. And of course, they're not going to say that because it was Georgia, Alabama. They just going to automatically say that because you're supposed to go review it. Everybody must tell me that was a textbook tackle, great hit. No, that kid should have been in a weird chair.
Yeah, well, you watch his helmet, you watch his head. He gets popped in the face mask, and then he's done. So yeah, no, that was targeting. That was targeting. I had two beefs in that game that really just kind of got me. Was let's see here, the pass interference that they called on Tech on the goal line. It was fourth down. They had him stopped. That was a weak pass interference call. Yeah, he had his arm wrapped around his hip, but it was one of those deals where you let more than that go all game, and then you pick right there to call it. Critical time in the game, you made sure to call it. I'm not saying refs want them to win, but, they get plenty of help.
I mean, like I said, when it was up by 14, the quarterback sneak was the play of the game where they didn't call targeting. And that's the only play I'm going to there was more out there. The fumble where he used the crown of his helmet. That's what the rule was supposed to be for.
Yes. And man, with that targeting rule, there is so much black and white or so much gray area that you almost have to stick to that black and white part of it. Because if you don't, it doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying?
It does not, man, because I don't even like the term targeting, because it's bad for a defensive player, because the offensive player is my target.
Right.
So what else are we supposed to do? Just sit there and wait?
Yeah.
He's moving, then we make him. No, we can't, because the offense has the advantage.
Yes.
We are defenseless.
Yeah. I mean, I get that 100%. Well, it's like the targeting on some of these wide receivers that they call. As a defensive back, if guy's already, at your chest and you're leading, you're ready to tackle him, how are you supposed to not lead with your head? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not lead with your head, but how are you supposed to not hit him helmet to helmet in that situation? Like, there's so many gray areas and so many bad calls on targeting calls that it's ridiculous. And they almost always end up changing the game. If they don't change that game, it changes the next one, especially if that targeting call comes in the second half, because then you've got that player suspended for the first half of the next game.
It's like, yeah. After the show, go watch the targeting that they called against. I think I watched it was the Bayou Classic, Southern and Grambling.
Okay.
Go watch that one there, and you're gonna be like, wow, they call that targeting. I mean, it's textbook. Hit him with the shoulder in his chest, but he hit him so hard where the kid got a concussion from hitting the ground that hard. But because
I'll go check that out.
They called it targeting.
I'll go check that one out. Next discussion point here: wide receiver core. We're banged up. We get about what, 3 weeks of rest. Well, the first game will either be the 20th or the 21st, so we get 16, 17 days of rest.
Yeah, as typically like how the Bowls go, but it's a little bit early than Bowls, because typically we are New Year Bowls. It's be exciting to see how this next weekend plays out, though.
Yeah, we've got quite a bit left to go. We did it again, though, man. That slow start in the early games. I don't necessarily think we would have started out slow if we didn't I wouldn't even call it a slow start if it wasn't for that fumble on the opening drive. That opening drive, we've talked about it several times. It sets the tone for the rest of the game. If you go out, you take it down the field, you score, a touchdown early. That changes the dynamic of the game. Look at Vandy. I mean, Vandy hung right in there after that kickoff return. So there's a lot to that opening drive that you don't think can change the course of the game. But again, that kind of ties into the resiliency thing. We come back out after that, bounced back just fine, and did what we needed to do. But good news about it is, no matter what, we're playoff bound, buddy.
We in it, man. We're in it. It's just the course of where are we going to play and who we're going to play. I mean, we're what, set for Ohio State or whatever?
Right now, that's the way it looks.
Even if it's here or there, I'm going to enjoy it, because if it's there, we win. It makes us look even better.
Yep, absolutely, man. And the good news about these slow starts in the early games, we don't have to worry about it, because playoff games aren't going to be early.
None of them will be early, man. It's the one thing I would say I'm going to like about the playoffs is not having early games.
Yes.
It's truly going to be the matchups with primetime TV.
Absolutely. Well, buddy, I think we've about hashed all we can out about this Vandy game. Let's take a break right quick, and we'll jump back in here and talk some playoffs.
Let's do it.
All right.